So I've been doing quite a bit of work on the kit car. It was a job that's kind of snowballed a bit. I got it out originally thinking I'd just get it up and running, and then as I progressed, so did the car, and it got better and better, and I thought, oh, you know, get to the point maybe I can get it on the road. Initially I just wanted to be able to drive it and move it around between places before I restore it, but the car actually is reasonably tidy, like 3/4 of the car, in fact all the car except for the right hand side's original paint. The car looks quite respectable going to the road, except the right hand side. I told the day that I saw the car for the first time that the quarter panel had been replaced and they'd done a lousy job and it didn't fit right, and also they hadn't etch primed the metal first when they did the paintwork, so the paint was peeling off and then there was surface rust where the paint was peeling off. So, and also the front fender was new old stock, so that was brown. So originally I was going to leave it sort of patina, which everyone talked about, which is not really a term I like, but I was going to leave it anyway. I couldn't stand it. So I thought, I'm just going to paint the right hand side of the car. I'm just preserving the car at this stage. I'm not doing a full resto. I have been fiddling around over the last few days, and what I found was this quarter panel where they joined it through here, and they didn't want to take the glasses out, so they've left the two glass pieces aside and rear, and they cut it down here and went through like down here, and they had this massive overlap, like a good 1.5 inch overlap from the original panel and the new panel, and of course it's just too fat. It just looked wrong, and when I first saw the car I looked down the side of the car and I could tell this was just all full. It just didn't look right. So I ended up spending a bit of time reworking this. I ended up cutting through the two layers and was able to do a proper butt joint. So when I actually finished, the surface is in the right plane it's meant to be in, and then I just tied up some of the rest of the areas down here. They really didn't do a good job at all. They distorted some of the panel down here. It was like a perfectly new old stock panel. They just ruined it basically. Anyway, the good sign was there was no rust repairs, even though it looked scaly and there was surface rust. There was actually no serious rust. It was just surface rust from the lack of etch primer. So I'll end up painting it back in its two colours. I'll try and reproduce that pinstriping. It's multi-layered. It would have been probably originally I'm guessing one layer, but I'll have to do it multi-layer, see if I can reproduce that. Like I said, I'll get the decals for the door and one on the roof, and I'll just make it look like a cool thing to drive around in. I'm going to leave the flares unpainted as they were and try and blend in with the rest of the car just a little bit. So anyway, that's what I've been messing with, so we'll see how it looks when it's all back in colour. Okay, so we've put a bit of colour on this old girl. Like I said, try to get too carried away. I want it to be, well, just a tidy driver. So I've actually painted the side of the car in a satin clear coat. So I'm hoping once it dirties up a little bit and, you know, I wash the rest of the car, it'll kind of blend in a little bit more. It's pretty scruffy around the wheel houses, but you don't see those because of the big flares that go on there. I'm now going to attempt to replicate this stripe. So originally it is one layer, I believe, like probably screen printed. Obviously you can't buy those anymore that I can see. It's a silver background with looks like a 3mm or 1/8 black stripe, and then like a slightly wider red stripe. So I'm going to multi-layer that. So I'm going to lay down the silver first, then do the black, and then do the red. Hopefully it'll emulate what it's supposed to look like. It's looking pretty tidy. The only problem is that this side now is going to look better than the other side, or the rest of the car. You know, but that was what I was planning, not to worry about getting too carried away and just get it up and running. And I just couldn't live with that quarter panel, which is now looking nice and straight, and now it's got a matching guard fender. We'll keep plugging away and put it back together, and then we'll see what it looks like. I'm going to make up this striping with multiple layers. So I got some silver somewhere. Where did I get there? I got some silver for the base, and then I got some black pinstripe, which I think that'll work. It's same thick width, and then I've got a burgundy. It's a little bit crimson, so it might work out all right. That'll be the third colour. So it's just nothing difficult. It's just a case of having a good eye and just taking your times. Pays to have a nice sharp blade around when you're doing this sort of work. Now this silver stripe is actually, the tape is slightly too narrow, just by a fraction, but it also slightly tapers on the end here, so I have to actually hand cut that. Another way to do it. So I'm going to overlap that. You wouldn't normally do this if you were doing a restoration, you would have it all perfectly clean and start from scratch, but you know, like I said, I'm just trying to, not that preserve is the right word, but just make the car look tidy, a tidy driver. I'm not trying to make it look restored. So I'm just replacing the stripe because obviously I lost the stripe for all the paint work I had to do down the side of the car. So I'm going to overlap that and start from here. Put my eyes on, otherwise I won't be able to see what I'm doing. So you've got to put quite a bit of tension on to make a curve like that. And this bit's easy because I'm just matching what was there before. When I get further down, I'm going to have to be more careful on the line. Now the real tricky bit here is this sharp turn here. So I'm getting a bit of a heat lamp going, making the panel warm so that the glue on the stripe really sticks well. And then really I need to sift a bit of heat onto that stripe so it will actually stretch, because it has to be, you've got just about the right amount of tension, pulling it to stretch it around the corner but not too much that you'll break it. Let's see how we go with this. That's the stripe. So it doesn't hurt to lift and drop a little bit or pull back. When you've got a bit of warmth there, you can actually afford to do that. Lift it. Sometimes you're stretching it, bending it, then you can lift it and stretch it and bend it a bit more to get it around. That's a pretty tight turn. That's about as tight as you probably want to go with a pinstripe that wide. I think that looks alright. It'll look a lot better with the multi-layers, you know, and we've got pickle things going on, but now it's a matter of lining up with the body line like it did on it originally. Now I looked at the other side, which I don't know where they were done. I don't know if it was done I doubt it was done at the factory. It's probably done an aftermarket company who perhaps did the conversion. I'm not sure on the kit car, but they were a bit up and down. They weren't exactly perfect, so I noticed the other side sort of dips down a bit. This one will probably be a bit neater than the other side, just because I can take the time to do it. It's my car, so why not? So just run the blade through there. You can see the line from the two layers of paint, but by the time I run the two other stripes over the top, you'll never see it. So now it's about continuing the rest. Get rid of the excess backing. Now it's all about how good your eye is. You know, keeping the line nice and straight, following the body line on the car. It's nice to have it wrapped around the back. It's better if you can pull tension from a distance, because then you can sight it better. And like I said, you can follow the body line. We'll look at the other side. I just want to make sure that gap looks about right between the paint and the stripe. Now be careful when you're rubbing it down, because if you push too hard, it can actually cause a ripple. So just gently, first time, just gently lay it like that. Same thing. Cut it off so you've got enough to wrap it around behind. Be careful when you open the door, sometimes that grabs. And then it'll tear. You don't want that. Actually put it back. You've got to get your little fingers in there. Pull it round behind the door. Then you can do the same thing with the next one. Guards are never straight. Most panels aren't dead straight. So it pays to pull a little bit of tension and just sort of lightly touch it along the way to keep its curve because it's not straight. And then if you don't push down too hard, you can pull back and then reset it if you've got it in the wrong spot. But the front bit's different because the front, it's got quite a big curve on it. So I've got to just use my eye to follow the line of the fender, and I've got to push it down and sort of commit to it. Just a matter of following the outer edge of this tape in this case, the red. It's technically not exactly right. The red's about 1 millimetre too wide, but you know, if I was doing a concourse restoration, then I'd probably make more effort in trying to find something more accurate. I can get a guy who actually can cut the pinstripe tape to the width that I want. But in this case, I'm just going to make do, and you know, you can see it's going to have colour variation because you cannot do this sort of repair, or not really well, and actually make it look like it was never repaired. So at the end of the day, this will be fine for now. So you just keep the right amount of tension on it to keep control. And then as you bend it, you've got to pull a little bit more tension, and also press your fingers down really tight on the panel so it sticks once and you get it right. And then it sweeps down to that slightly thinner edge. Trim it off. Now I just got to run the 1/8 pinstripe, the black one, beside that. So the original pinstripe was only 2 mil. So what I'm going to use this roll. I'm going to pull the black pinstripe out of this one and use that because it's the closer to the original thickness. So the only difference with this is I'll be rolling out 1/2 and leaving 1/2 behind. So I have to have another look on the other side to see what it looked like. So I think it's centred. So the black pinstripe goes pretty much in the middle. Jeez, have I got that on the right side? I thought I put the red on the wrong side for a minute there. Okay, so now I'm going to run the black stripe, centre it all the way as I go, and just got to do it by eye. There's no other way to do it. Pinstripe, it's only skinny, so the skinnier the tape gets, the easier it is to manoeuvre. I can do figure eights with it, but also at the same time, it's easier to make it wobble. You know, it doesn't hold its. You've got to hold the tension to keep it straight. So not hard. It's just, you know, a matter of just a bit of feel and a good eye. You definitely need a good eye for this sort of thing. So just peeling back multi-layers. Now the front bit coming around the bottom here. So a quick walk around of the car outside. It's had a bit of a clean up, as you've been seeing what I've been up to. I did tweak the front spoiler a little bit. I've been planning on doing that. I curved the sides of the spoiler up. This is done purely on pictures, so I can't be sure it's exactly right, but it looks about right. And then this side cleaned up with the paint in a satin finish, just so it didn't look too bright and shiny for the rest of the car, considering it's not going to be detailed or restored. So it's looking pretty tidy. There's the stripe in detail after it's been a close-up, after I've made that up. It's not exactly right, but it's close enough. So it's really looking good. I'm really quite happy how it's turned out. So for now, that's as far as I'm going to go. I'm going to drive it around like that. My friend, buddy Paul, he's used some photos that I got offline and scaled them to size. So he's made up the artwork for the number 43. So we're getting decals made for that at the moment. So I'm going to put the 43 on the front doors, or the doors, and on the roof. And you're also going to make up the 360 CID for the hood. So it's going to look pretty loud going down the road, especially in Australia, because there's nothing out like that here. So it should be good. Looking forward to it. Fun day today. We're, I'm talking to the thing by the way. We're putting the stickers on. Something I've looked forward to since the day I bought the car because I kind of think it's pretty cool. So I couldn't do it without Paul. I didn't find anywhere to buy these online in America. Not saying there isn't somewhere around, but I couldn't find them, so Paul was good enough to help me out. So now we're just having, going by photos because I've got no drawings. I don't know exactly how they go. I don't even know if the dealerships would have put them all on the same. They probably just had a rough guide. So we're going by the photos and scaling it to the photos and working out where we think we're going to lay it. So we're just putting in some witnesses to line up to.
Yep.
And we're using this like a hinge.
That's a hinge.
So it just pivots the decal backwards.
Okay.
And in theory, it goes on straight. You want me to hold anything? I'll hold the back of that down. No, okay. You've got to carefully peel the backing off, so sometimes I can pick the letter up if you're not careful.
Conformable vinyl, so it should just
Yep.
happy enough.
Beautiful. Looks good. Now it makes us look good doing that, but then now we've got to do it again and have it look the same. That's the hard part, matching it.
Pretty loud, isn't it?
That's loud. Yep. See that coming down the road? Hey? Yeah.
Picks up the darkness of the lines and.
Yeah. No, it's a good image. Yeah, it looks like the pictures too. So in graphics world or signage world, apparently the 3 has to be slightly bigger than the 4 because of an optical illusion. If you don't, the 3 looks smaller than the 4 because of the shape, which is weird. Yeah. So this has actually been made slightly bigger at the top and the bottom. So just consider that when you line it up to the body, I guess. Oh no, it'd actually get closer. You don't make it match. You can't because the sticker would be crooked.
Yeah, so that's why we've got that's the point there that's going to
Yes.
be the one to make sure it doesn't hit the
body.
Hit the red stripe.
So we've got 160 there. It's going to be a lot more. We've got the door handle to think about. So.
How does the images?
Yeah, I better have a look at that. So it'll relate to that. Yeah, because otherwise, if the 3 would be hard up against the door. Well, I need to see the other side.
Can you find one that's
So we're trying to go off colours off the, pictures off the internet. And because we've started doing, why don't we just go to the other side? Do that first.
Well, just let me have a look at the phone here.
So you can see the problem we have, because of the angle of the 4, it looks like it's a long way from the door handle. But with the 3, because it's the opposite way, it's going to be close to the door handle, and I haven't got an image of it facing the door handle. I still think it's going to have to be centred, but
So yeah, this
it may not be able to be centred.
This one, the 4 is quite close to the door.
Yeah. So I think we'll make it close to centre, no matter where the 2 ends end up, close to the door handle. So what's that? It's 160. And this is 300, so there's 120, so I need to go about 80 mil. What do you reckon? Wow, that's really loud. Looks really cool. Now, you would not want to drive this around incognito, because I think you'd probably stand out. If you're a married man with a girlfriend, I would not be driving this car. Looks really good. So that's it for the Volare for now. I'm going to just drive it around as it is, enjoy it as it is, and we'll see what happens in the future.
you think?
Very good.
Sounds good.
Yeah. You gonna hop in your little car? Drive it in.
Drive it in.
So, wait. So, what do you think, wifey, of your little car?
Love it.
Yeah.
It's just me.
You're going to be careful driving this around now. You won't be able to hide. Everyone will see you.
No one will see me. I'm
Yeah.
too fast.
Ooh. Drive her in. Very good. Suits you, Dove.
Okay.